I'm Alexander Hamilton, founding father and notorious rib man. At TGI Fridays, get a full rack of ribs for just $10. That's one Hamilton, me, for a full rack of Jack Daniels or Friday's signature barbecue ribs. Who invented the half rack of ribs anyway? The half-wit?
Hurry in for a full rack of ribs or our $10 summer grill entrees. Valid on select items for a limited time. Only at participating locations. Dine in only. Price does not include tax or gratuity. Not valid with any other offer.
Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Touch me, squeeze me, touch me, squeeze me,
Good evening, and welcome again to another edition of Erotic Taboo Sensual Touch. I am your host, 1/3 of the most, Colin.
I am Jackie, and I just actually want to give a shout-out to my co-queen. It was her birthday yesterday, so let's show Melanie some birthday love. Happy birthday, Melanie. I hope you had a great day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I had a great time. Thank you, guys. I'm happy to do the show. I am your co-host, Melanie, and today we're going to talk a boatload. I think we're going to touch on some stuff that is really going to get to people. But before we get to that, let's talk about the previous show, which was baggage from men's perspective. So, Colin, he actually led the show. So, Colin, what was your perspective on our last show?
Well, before I jump right into that, I just want to welcome back my co-queen host, Jackie, from her birthday of celebration of last week. She was out, but we held it down in her absence. I just want to welcome her back, and like she already touched on, happy birthday to my other co-host, Melanie, my ladies, birthday queens. But baggage, men's perspective, absolutely, men's perspective. I felt that that was some great information that we shared, and that we had some callers call in and share his perspective as well. I was saying last week that men, we carry some baggage, and although we might not want to admit it or verbalize that, we do, and we all do actually. Baggage in a relationship is not exclusive to male or female. It's everyone, period. And that's just the bottom line. We all have it. If we've ever been in a relationship, no matter how short or long, we've all taken some type of baggage to a degree into the next.
Absolutely.
Be it hurt feelings or memories or something. What do you think?
I would have to agree with that. I think that, as we said on the first round of that baggage show, I think the baggage that you have, you can't let it consume you. I feel like you have to own that baggage so that it doesn't become a factor in your new relationship. But if you keep going from relationship to relationship, you're building baggage on top of baggage, and it will start to manifest in that current relationship. So it is important for us to own it, and don't let it overpower us, because every relationship shouldn't have to pay for what you experienced in previous relationships, and we're guilty of that, especially women.
Yeah.
It could stunt your growth. It could stunt your relationship growth.
Exactly.
Good point. I think so. I think, Jackie, you had a key point, which is ownership. But I also think that we're not taught to check our baggage. We're not taught to have that self check in. And I think when we go from relationship to relationship, and I believe we talked about this too, sometimes you need that downtime to reconfigure yourself and take time to get to know yourself again and then do like a self check again to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And I don't think we really take the time to, sit down and think about that, because then we have to start facing some other stuff. So checking your baggage is essential. It definitely is essential.
It definitely is, yeah. And I agree. And I think there are so many people that don't want to be alone. So they're not allowing themselves to have that break in between, because going into that next relationship, if you don't do that self-eval, you're still not sure of what it is you want. And you have to take that time to figure out, okay, this didn't work. So if this relationship didn't work, and then you go to another relationship with the same kind of mess, it's kind of like you're a glutton for punishment. If that didn't work the last couple of times, it's time to change gear. You have to do that. It's like I always say, you got to get naked.
Yeah.
You just got to get naked and examine the things that are important to you.
Yeah.
And stop going into these relationships looking for someone to fix you.
Good point.
Right.
Very good point. I think we're just scared too. And, it's crazy to me. And again, I'll say it and I'll keep saying it every show. Every show I learn something. And more importantly, I learn something about myself. And to sit down, and Jackie, I think you and I talk about it, and like you just said, to get in that mirror and say, okay, these are my flaws, but not only are these my flaws, but this is not what I'm willing to deal with in the next relationship. And I don't know why we are so scared to deal with that, because that bag gets bigger and bigger and bigger in every relationship until you learn how to check it.
Exactly. And if we want healthier relationships, we have to check it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And from the man's perspective last week, Jackie, we discussed that even the men, because men aren't as expressive, for the most part, as females, we do tend to carry that, and we sweep it under the rug or act as if it's not even there, acting as if everything is okay, moving on to the next one, when all it would take, and this will apply to females too, is that something being said or something done that could trigger that baggage and cause you to act out in a way that you didn't intend to act out, because it's baggage that you didn't previously deal with from a previous situation. So it's definitely very, very important that we address that with self. Take time out to be with yourself, to analyze and to look at yourself. And if you can't do it, because we all can't, everyone doesn't have that capacity, then go talk to someone, be it a friend or a professional, and help you come to that peace within, so you can then move on.
And I agree with you. I listened to the show last week, and it was so powerful, and I appreciate Mike calling in. And just listening from the guy's perspective, I know that oftentimes men have a hard time with it, and bringing that to the forefront, I applaud both of you, because that is hard. And men, I know that you have a harder time snatching the sheets off yourself, because you don't want to admit that you're flawed, or, in our community, you mentioned counseling, Colin, that in itself is taboo in our community. Counseling, I don't have a problem. Why should I get counseling?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is considered taboo, unfortunately, but, we have to, and that's what we're here to do, and we do what we can do, us three, in our own area, and for those that we are able to reach, to pull those covers and those sheets off of the stigma attached to important things that could help us grow. Such as counseling and other things that we talk about, So it's deep, but we can get to the root of it. We definitely can.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you one question, just in a general sense. For men, what kind of baggage do you all typically take to relationships?
Well, if she, I think a major thing for men, unlike women, in my experience, when it comes to which, this will tie into what's coming up in the next segment. If a man has been hurt by a female, okay, if she stepped out on him or she incorporated or involved another male, but yet they stayed together, then that is baggage that he now will carry on in that relationship and into the next one. Especially if he got cheated on. I come to realize that women tend to forgive more readily and accept you back if you transgress or had some type of transgression in your relationship. Whereas the male, that I'm telling you, that's going to sit right here in the frontal lobe, right in the forefront of your mind that she did something with this other dude, and now that's baggage, and you will carry that into your next lady, and and act accordingly.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, we visualize it more. We just I don't know. I can't sometimes verbalize it sometimes on how it's like it's almost tangible. You can touch it almost. Whereas women, it's like
y'all told me that. You're right.
Yeah.
Y'all can just like compartmentalize it or be done with it and move on and be ready to accept him back, even though he did something that egregious in the relationship. But it's like a double standard, which we all heard before. It's like a double standard. You can do it, but I can't do it. That type of baggage. That to me that's an extreme case, but that is it's not a not rare case. It's very frequent in just that aspect alone. That's a lot of baggage right there. If she is not emotional to his needs or giving him words of comfort or things of that nature, baby, and just, stuff like that could cause him to not be receptive to the next young lady, or it could cause him to act out, lash out to someone else. But I think that just the emotional side of it, for men, the emotional baggage, more so than any other type of baggage, I think it's just pretty big for us men.
That's interesting. Again, I don't know about Jackie and Colin, but I learn something every time. And I think, of course, when anyone gets cheated on, you feel a certain type of way about it. But like you said, Colin, I think that men and women just handle it a little differently. Women are at the point in they're saying, okay, over a period of time, okay, we can, come back and be a unit. But men are just, it's like question mark, question mark, question mark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't get past it.
They can't get
past it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, this is good stuff. All right, y'all.
All right, take us a break.
Yeah, we got to go to break on this one. This was definitely a good one. We're going to break, y'all. We'll be right back.
Baby. When you hug me, I kind of get aroused just thinking about your lips touching mine. As you work your way down to my breast, licking, sucking, and kissing. And I patiently anticipate you entering my chamber as my lips blossom with the juice of sweet nectar, and my belly bursts fragrant of desire. My spine tingles with each thrust you take inside me. When the pressure and heat builds in my vaginal walls, I become like a volcano, ready to erupt at the height of my orgasm. Oh! No one, my dear, has ever come close to this love you inspire. You fill my soul with so much joy. For you, my dear, are my heart's desire. Oh,
Welcome back, and welcome back to Erotic Taboo Sensual Touch. I am your host again, Colin, and I am present tonight with my lovely co-host to my left and to my right, Jackie and Melanie. And I just want to jump right into something, ladies, if you don't mind. I got a question for you. What does trust mean to each of you respectively? What does trust mean? Jackie?
Okay, I'm going to say for me, trust, I have to be able to, if I'm in a relationship, which I am, trust for me means full disclosure, in a sense. I have to be comfortable and be naked with this person. I have to be comfortable enough to shed my skin fully and trust that this person will accept me, flaws and all, and always take my feelings into consideration. I have to have that level of safety with them emotionally. It's kind of like we have to have a strong emotional intimacy connection with one another for me to feel that way. Otherwise, it's just the relationship would kind of go, in a bad direction. So for me, it's full disclosure.
That's interesting. I think for me, I have to be able to depend or be able to know that you're going to do X, Y, and Z. As it relates to the relationship, as it relates to, other things, household things, or, whatever. I have to know, and, you got to be dependable for me in order for me to say I trust. And it has to be an investment, too, for me. I have to feel like I'm invested in you and you're invested in me, which brings about trust for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and truthfully, everybody will have their own variation of what that means. I mean, that's so powerful that one word of trust, everybody can have such a varying degree of it.
Yeah,
and mine is, basically, trusting someone means that, that you think that they are reliable.
Yeah.
You have confidence in them, and you feel safe with them physically and emotionally. And that's saying something. So to get to that point in a person, from person to person, that I trust you, that's saying a lot. I trust you. And then I guess that could really go into the reason why people are hurt so bad when that trust is betrayed to any degree, and it takes a while to recover from it, because trust is so powerful. Trust. I mean, it's like you're vulnerable at a certain point. You're just giving yourself. I'm gonna give myself to you to take care of me in this capacity.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a great point. And I think that when you make these commitments to people, you're going in that with the knowledge of, I trust this person completely. Otherwise, why in the world would you make a commitment to them?
Yeah.
It's that feeling, that connection that you've made with them, where you allowed yourself to be vulnerable, you feel safe, and you trust that they are reliable. And when it's broken, it's hard to get back to that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think, trust has to be earned. And I think a lot of times when we go into these relationships, and I think more so from a woman's perspective, well, I can only speak from a woman's perspective. I think sometimes that we give trust when we really shouldn't give it. It has to be something that is earned over a period of time. And a lot of times we wear our emotions, on our sleeve. And a lot of times that's where we get hurt. We get cut. We get, pushed and everything else. And that's because we're saying, here, I'm giving you all of this up front, but he hasn't earned it. He hasn't earned it.
And you're right. And as women, we give it too soon because we just have that need. We want to be in a relationship. We want to feel connected. So I agree with you. We give it too soon, even when he hasn't even earned it. And then when the ball drops, you're standing there holding the bag like, what happened? But you didn't take the time because you were so desperate to be in a relationship. You didn't take the time to fully get to know him before you gave your all.
Absolutely.
Now, people show us. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jackie. No, you go ahead. People show us. Yeah, people show us who they are. A lot of times we don't want to believe it, but people always show us signs of who they are. And if you enter into a relationship with someone that has shown you that they are disloyal in some way, I kind of think you're a glutton for punishment because they've already shown you who they were and you still went into a relationship. And I know a situation like this, their relationship is over now, but he married her knowing she was just, I always use this term and people laugh, she was a serial cheater, but he still chose to marry her. And so my question to him was, what did you think would change? If you've been around her and her family and that's all they do, what did you think would change? Did you think because you bought her a house that she would be loyal? She's consistently shown you who she was. I think people might go into it. People might go into it thinking in their mind that they can change a person.
Exactly.
That's unfortunate because they're setting themselves up for the pain that's about to come. Not if it's coming, it's when it's coming.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with you on that, because it goes back to people showing you who they are. And if you go into it, because women especially are guilty of this, I can change him. You can't.
No, you can't. What you see is what you get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, he has to want to change.
Absolutely. And not only that, the one has to be there, like you said, Jackie, but you have to show. And I think sometimes with us women, again, we put ourselves on such a short leash where, okay, he was good for a month, so I'm going to give 110%. No.
Right.
No. What he has shown is a behavior. So he has to undo that behavior because Lord only knows how long he's been doing that behavior. So he should be on a timeline. You're gonna earn this amount of trust and over a period of 6 months, and it's a build up. It's not something that's just a given, in my opinion.
But can you really ration out trust consciously? Like putting someone on a timeline?
I think that that's unfair. I think that you're setting that person and yourself up for failure. And here's the thing that we as women do. We will say we forgive, but ultimately we haven't. Because every time there's a problem in the relationship, that incident is going to come up. And if you forgive somebody, you should be past it. Don't say you forgive and you keep living in that moment because that's not forgiveness.
I think trust does trust necessarily take a long time to build, or can someone do you come in the door trusting until you're given a reason not to trust?
That's sort of like a blind faith, in a sense, right? Wouldn't you say that? I mean, they're kind of like trustworthy until proven distrustworthy.
Right. Right.
That's what we do when we go into relationships, right?
Absolutely. To tell you the truth, pretty much. I saw a quote that says, and I asked that question because I came across a quote earlier, and it said, let me see, it said, trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair.
Wow. Bingo.
That is true. Yes, that is it.
You hit it. Can I just please add?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I please add to that, because that goes so well with what Judge Lynn Toller said. So let me play this clip. It's only a minute. So everybody listen in. And guys, I see some people calling in. Just hold on for a second. All right, so you guys, if you could not hear it, I'm going to play it in just a second. Give me like 2 seconds, and I'm going to play it because it's so relevant to what we're talking about. So here's the clip.
And you are not ready to marry him, and you need a lot of
Now, did you all hear that? The whole point is that the young lady who wanted to marry someone, she already had trust issues because he done cheated with everybody in the neighborhood. So Judge Toller was more or less like, well, why do you want to marry him? Like, what's the point? If you have pulled out all of these, he cheated on this, he called this girl, he met with this girl. Why do you still want to connect with him and to marry him? And it's because, like she said at the end, sometimes you just need that time to do that self-evaluation. Get you together first, so then you can hopefully proceed in making more rational decisions, because why would you want to marry somebody who's already showed you what they are? And that goes back to what you were saying earlier, Jack.
Yeah, it's kind of, again, like he's shown her who he is.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
so, and that's the thing that we, as women, we often crave that, that title of being in a relationship that we tend to overlook a lot because we're lonely. But then you set yourself up for a bigger hurt down the line because you've allowed certain things to take place even when you knew who the person was. Yeah. How could you expect to build on that?
Right. You can't.
Right.
You simply can't. Colin, your thoughts?
I think that that's a legitimate question, especially when you're on the outside looking in. More so, actually, when you're on the inside, you're the inside person, and you don't see what others see. And I just have a question: is it really a fact of trust, or is it something deeper than the reason why? Just saying, using that case on the judge show, does she have some real something deeper and underlying that's causing her to do these things or act that way? But in generally speaking, trust, I think, it's not only is it a varying and a wide varying description or definition, it's so wide and varying, the degree and the feeling of it and how it is obtained and maintained. You just can go so many different directions with it. And to tell you the truth, man, is someone right or wrong when it comes to trust? I mean, my trust and your trust is different. The levels are different. The expectations are different. It's just all of it is so different. And I think trust is kind of almost opinion based, or feeling is just feeling based. How do you feel? It's individual. It's to each his own. It boils down to me. Is there really a wrong way? A common sense way, maybe, but is it a wrong way?
Common sense, right. And I think, too, these conversations, should go back to the beginning of the relationship. I read a quote, and I saved it for this show. I thought this was pretty good. When a woman tells you what she's been through with her ex, she's not giving you her baggage. She's trusting you to learn from his mistakes and not put her through it again. And I thought that was a powerful quote, because if she's been in a relationship where there are trust issues and the two of you are having these conversations, because I think that's a big part of it too. If we're going in these relationships blind because we're so caught up in the moment and we're not talking, then all of a sudden, in the midst of that relationship, that trust is violated. It's violated, and it's probably not repairable in most cases. But if you haven't had these conversations in the beginning, or you chose to overlook, some character flaws, wouldn't you bear responsibility for the what's the word I'm looking for the demise and the trust?
Absolutely. Yeah. But what it's all related, and it'll always come back to Erotic Taboo Central Touch's reoccurring theme, which is communication.
Communication, exactly.
As long up front, in the front, you can attempt to alleviate all of those issues that can possibly and likely occur when not talked about up front, like you said, Jackie. So definitely communication can help all of that. It can save us some tears and some headache and some heartache.
Yes,
and some more
Lord.
tears.
Yes,
communicate.
Lord.
Let's talk about
We've all been there.
Absolutely, we all have. Absolutely.
Right,
and it's not a good feeling to be there.
Great conversation, guys. So we're going to take a brief break, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Baby, when you hug me, I kind of get aroused just thinking about your lips touching mine. As you work your way down to my breast, licking, sucking, and kissing, and I patiently anticipate you entering my chamber as my lips blossom with the juice of sweet nectar, and my belly bursts fragrant of desire. My spine tingles with each thrust you take inside me. When the pressure and heat builds in my vaginal walls, I become like a volcano, ready to erupt at the height of my orgasm. Oh! No one, my dear, has ever come close to this love you inspire. You fill my soul with so much joy. For you, my dear, are my heart's desire. Oh. Okay.
welcome back, everyone, to Erotic Taboo Central Touch. And I want to take the time out to thank our two Facebook followers, G. Alfred Palmer and Arnita Beasley, for giving us some great topics to talk about.
Yeah.
That's oh so soft, Miss Oh So Soft Beasley. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Miss Beasley.
Yeah, I got you. I got you back.
Say it again,
I got you
Tyler.
back. Miss Oh So Soft Beasley. I got you back, Miss Beasley. Thank you. We thank you for your participation.
But
Absolutely.
guys, you know what, guys? When we put the poll on Facebook and the response that we got, I was just like, wow, trust is huge. Trust, according to lovepinky.com, trust is the number 2 problem in relationships. And guess what number 1 is?
Communication.
Finances.
You got it. Colin got it.
Finances.
Colin got it.
Communication. Yeah, the C word, man. I tell you. Or the other
That's why
word.
there's so many broken relationships, because of the lack of communication.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give you guys the definition of trust, and this is from the Webster Dictionary, which is probably thousands of years old, hundreds of years old.
You're right.
Right. All right. So they define it as reliance, and I think we talked about that: integrity, surety, strength, ability. And this is what I really liked about it. And this was actually, you know how they have it in the dictionary? They have 1, and then they have 2 with some definitions. The second one said obligation or responsibility imposed on a person to whom you confide in. And I thought about that, and I was like, damn, that is huge, because, and I don't think any of us mentioned, confiding in this person. You got to be able to trust somebody to be able to confide in someone. And I said, damn, that is huge. That's huge in a relationship.
Well, yeah, it goes because you're shedding, like I said, it's like you're being naked. You're becoming naked in front of that person. So you're just opening yourself up, to, I guess, expose yourself in a sense. And if you can't do that, if you're not comfortable enough with the person you're in a relationship with to be able to do that, there's a breakdown between the two of you, because you have to be able to do that with your mate.
And that relationship won't go anywhere, and that's just the bottom line. That relationship cannot grow if there's no trust there. Trust. Right. I mean, sometimes you just have to stop and think of a word and really ponder on that word. Trusting someone physically and emotionally. I trust you to do right with the things that I give you, the feelings that I share with you, my body that I share with you. I trust you to do right by it. And so if that is not trust, if trust is not there, your relationship is false. It is not going anywhere. It is not going to grow. You are kidding yourself. You are kidding each other. It's just bottom line. It cannot grow.
I agree.
It's not possible.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying. If you can't, you have to be able to be whole with that person. If you're uncomfortable doing that, she's not the one for you, or he's not the one for you, because there's no way you should be in a relationship and you're still guarded about what you can share with that person. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But I think, too, and I'll speak from experience. Y'all know I'm like, what's her name on Golden Girls? The one who always has a story to tell about being back in Italy. No, the one, the mother.
Oh, yeah. I forgot her name. But, yeah.
But I'm like her. Always got a story to attach to something. But sometimes when you're in a relationship and the trust is clearly not there, it's not there for whatever reason, and you're trying to rebuild that trust, that takes all the power in the world. That takes my power, your power, everybody's power to do that, because you're constantly, or I can speak for myself, I'm constantly looking out the corner of my eye. What are you doing? What is that? Who is that? You know, and it takes a repetition of of reassurance. It takes a repetition of, okay, I'm going to trust again, and it's just it's a work. It is literally a work. And
yes, it is.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a mind thing. It's giving myself to you again. What am I setting myself up for? Are you going to be good this time, or am I going to have to come out with knives and guns? So I mean,
had to go have some therapy, Colin, because this next thing,
man. I'm hearing some baggage on my line. I'm hearing some baggage on my line. Melanie, step away, back away slowly.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you though.
It surely is, is the truth. So, but that is what it is. But you also, in those situations, I feel like you also have to be guarded. You also have to know when enough is enough. I'm going to try this, and this, and when it's enough is enough, I'm going to gracefully bow out. That's important too. That's very important.
And I think when there's a breakdown in the relationship, it's not just one person.
Right.
I always say there are defining moments in a relationship which causes other things to occur. So you have to examine that and be able to put all your cards on the table and say, listen, I think this is the role that I may have played in it. Because I think if you start having those conversations, it may be a little easier to rebuild. I mean, it's not going to come easy, but each party has to take responsibility for their role in the breakdown.
Good point. Very good point. You're right. 100% right. 100% right.
Do we have a caller? Do we have a caller we can go to now?
Sorry, guys. I was so ramped up.
I hear you, man.
Ramped up. We get like that.
Caller.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
are you there?
I'm here. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. So what do you think about the topic of trust?
I mean, it's just simple. If there is no relationship, if there's no trust. And if you're in a relationship and the trust is broken, it is very hard to get it back. I mean, I think you said something about there has to be repetition. Some couples can recover from it. Some cannot. And I don't even know if it depends on you can't even say one offense can be more severe than the other because there are different levels. People trust on different levels. I'll put it that way.
Absolutely.
So it happened to one person and they may be able to bounce back from it, may not be applicable to someone else's, relationship.
Good point.
And then I also think that with women, because we have emotional baggage from past relationships and a lot of, and damage and things like that, and some women suffer from low self-esteem, that can play a part in not trusting as well. And that can potentially damage your future relationship if you haven't pretty much taken care of that.
Good point.
Or you don't have a patient mate that will work with you through the issues that you have,
Yeah.
So
very
that's my
valid
take on
point.
it.
Very valid
we
point.
appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
thank
welcome.
you so much. All right. And I want to bring up another point too, and I think the caller alluded to this too. We also bring trust issues from not only previous relationships, romantic relationships, but previous relationships in general. So if things have occurred to a person, let's say in childhood, we tend to carry all that, again, baggage over to the next relationship. And if one of those things were trust issues, it can be, your mother abandoned you, or you were violated as a child. You bring all that stuff with you if you don't learn how to deal with it. And that can impact your relationship. I mean, eventually, that can impact your relationship too. So I think that goes back to that self-check that we should do often. And I can admit, I don't do it often enough. I should be self-checking every hour on the hour.
I mean, I wasn't always good at doing that, and I always felt like I didn't have a problem. Once I started, and that was just me being arrogant, once I started to do a self-check, and I started realizing, wow, this person, I don't know who this person is. It's like I had to change because I couldn't ask for him to change certain things if I wasn't going to make adjustments, with myself. And there were a lot of things I needed to change. I think I had a list, and he may have had 2 or 3 items that I would have liked some improvement in. But for me, I just had at one point, and it could have been being young, but I don't even want to say that it was all that. I was selfish, but I couldn't see it. I told you, Mel, I said my brothers checked me often.
Right.
So I had to actually start looking at myself and realizing I don't like this person.
Wow. Wow.
So, and that's why I'm big on shedding your skin, because it's the one thing that can just leave such a wall between you and your mate. You can't look for positive changes if you're not willing to do the same. And in order to do that, you have to get naked.
All right. Now, I'm not not exactly counting how many times she said, let's get naked tonight. I'm not counting it, but I'm kind of subconsciously counting it. All right, subconsciously counting it. And so I'm going to take away from that, Jackie.
People understand, you just have to shed the skin.
You got to put it, absolutely, got to put it where the goats can get it. That's absolutely right. Got to put it where they can get it. So,
and
I like
naked. I like that naked, and I'm even starting to use it. Like, you gotta get naked because I can visually see it. I can,
let's take that to work. That's the new work slogan. Let's get naked. Come into work. Good morning, Tom. Good morning. Let's get naked.
Yeah, let's get naked.
HR is on line 1.
Yeah, that's our slogan. We gonna go with that.
Let's get naked.
That's our slogan. When we introduce these topics, that's where we're going with it. This is the topic. Let's get naked.
That's right. That is right. We adopted something new today. Welcome you all, whoever's listening tonight. You all witnessed something new for our show. Let's get naked.
Let's
go. That means keep it real. Let's keep it 100.
That's right.
Let's get naked.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? The way that you all can get naked with Jackie and me and Melanie on the side watching, the way that you all can connect with us and get naked is you can reach us on erotictaboosensualtouch.com, and that's our website, www.erotictaboosensualtouch.com. You can send us an email. You can send us some show ideas. We value your feedback. We want your feedback. If there's something that we're running out of topics to discuss, let's talk about your topic. What's important to you? So send it to us, and we'll talk about it. You can reach us on the productions of majesty.com. That is our email address, the productions of majesty.com. You can reach me you can reach us on Facebook, Erotic Taboo Sensual Touch. relationship group. And, you know, Facebook is all the rage now, so we're always posting. We put polls up. We want your feedback. We want your comments and your suggestions. You can reach us on our phone numbers. We have show phone numbers only, okay? No DM. show phone numbers only. So if you want to reach me, I'll inject a little bit of humor while I hit you with the real 443-396-3242. That's 443-396-3242. You can reach the lovely Jackie at 410-635-1666. And you can reach the lovely Melanie at 410-921-7634. Ladies and gentlemen, feedback is what feeds us. We value it. We value you. Ladies, you got anything that you want to share with the people? Did I leave out something? Did I omit something? I did. YouTube. Reach us on YouTube. You can watch us. We do on-location shoots. We got some new locations coming up. We got some good segments coming up also. Erotic Taboo, Sensual Touch is our YouTube channel. Ladies, help me out. Did I miss anything? If you want to add anything.
You rock.
Yeah. You did perfect.
Oh, wow.
Perfect. All right, y'all. With all that Kylan said, because I have to feel he's trying to rush us off the phone. That's what I have
absolutely not. No, I'm not rushing y'all off. I just wanted to get our info out before the people rush off, you know. So I just wanted to get that out there. You know, we you know how we roll. We could go all night long talking.
Right. Yeah.
And the trust is broken. You know, you got to figure out a way to try to rebuild, but also have those self-check-ins to say, okay, this is working, this is not working, and also have a way or a means to say, you know what, this is not working. I'm ready to call it a day. You know, we've tried this, and this, and for whatever reason, it's just not working. You know, have those things. Get counseling. I'm a big advocate for that. Get counseling. You check in. Talk to somebody. I talk to Jackie probably too much, but, you know, because I feel like she's experienced in certain areas. So, you know, find somebody who you can trust and, you know, talk to her. You know, get it out. Get it all out.
Yeah, you got to get it out. You got to get it out because it is going to be a detriment to your relationship if you're not having this conversation. And it could be one small thing in your relationship that causes you to blow up because you're not talking about it.
Yep. Anything to say, sir?
Awesome show, ladies. Your feedback, as usual.
Yeah, we learn from each other. So, and I appreciate both of you because y'all teach this old girl some things.
Yep. I think we all learned something. All right, with that, we are checking out of here. We'll talk to you next time. See you later.
All right. Good night.
Sensual touch. Erotic taboo. Sensual touch. Touch me. Squeeze me hard. Touch me. Squeeze me hard.
I'm Alexander Hamilton, founding father and notorious rib man. At TGI Fridays, get a full rack of ribs for just $10. That's one Hamilton, me, for a full rack of Jack Daniels or Friday Signature Barbecue ribs. Who invented the half rack of ribs anyway? The half-wit?
Hurry in for a full rack of ribs or our $10 summer grill entrees. Valid on select items for a limited time. Only at participating locations. Dine-in only. Price does not include tax or gratuity. Not valid with any other offer.
Summer is all about fun, friends, family, and food. And your neighborhood Safeway has the freshest choices. For your next gathering, shop the big seafood sale and pick up sockeye salmon fillets for only $9.99 a pound with your club card. And get fresh 2-pound strawberries or 18-ounce blueberries, 2 for $7. Plus, get over $95 in coupon savings from this week's ad. Fresher seafood, sweeter produce, better summers. Safeway, it's just better.